Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark, and as usual, I've been diving deep into the latest tech buzz.
And I'm Jenny, always excited to explore what Mark's unearthed. So, what rabbit hole did you fall down this week?
Oh, this one's a doozy. Google just unveiled their next-gen smartphone, and the camera tech. It's something else. We're talking a serious leap in mobile photography.
Okay, you've got my attention. I'm always up for better selfies, but what's so special this time around?
It's this thing called computational photography. I know, it sounds super technical, but it's actually pretty cool. So you know how when you take a picture, especially at night, it can get all grainy and dark?
Ugh, don't remind me. My concert photos always look like they were taken with a potato.
Right? Well, computational photography is like, imagine your phone taking a bunch of pictures at once, really fast, and then picking out the best parts of each one to create one image. It's like a super smart collage, but for photos.
Interesting. So it's not just about having a better lens, it's more about the software?
Exactly. And Google's been leading the charge on this for a while. They're like the wizards of computational photography, if you will.
So it's the merging of these rapid-fire shots that makes for a clearer picture, even with crummy lighting?
Yep, that's the gist. There was this report from, what's his name? Dr. Mark Lavoie, a big shot in computational imaging. And he was saying, this phone is a quantum leap in the field.
A quantum leap? That's a bold claim. But I guess if anyone knows, it's this Dr. Lavoie guy.
Seriously. And it's not just about making things brighter. This tech can also make colors more accurate, improve the dynamic range. The difference between the lightest and darkest parts of an image.
Okay, so besides computational photography, what else is new and shiny in this phone?
They're also pushing hard on AI-powered image processing. This is where it gets really cool. The phone uses artificial intelligence to actually understand what's in your picture.
Understand? Like, it knows if I'm taking a picture of my cat versus my lunch?
Basically, yes. It can identify different objects, scenes, even lighting conditions. And then it uses that information to optimize the photo. Like, if it sees a sunset, it might boost the warm colors. Or, if it detects a person, it might adjust the focus and lighting for a better portrait.
So it's like having a tiny, super smart photographer living inside your phone?
That's a great way to put it. I was reading this analysis by Sarah Lee. She's a senior mobile tech analyst. And she was saying it's not just about the hardware specs anymore. It's about how intelligently the phone uses that hardware, thanks to AI.
It sounds impressive, but is it, kind of creepy? Like, my phone is analyzing my every photo?
That's a fair question. Privacy is a big concern with all this AI stuff. Google says all the processing happens on the device, so your data isn't being sent to some giant server in the cloud. But yeah, it's something to keep an eye on.
On a less concerning note, how does all this affect, say, zoom? Because let's be honest, phone zoom usually looks pretty terrible.
Oh man, the zoom is where this AI really shines. They're calling it AI Enhanced Zoom. Basically, the phone uses AI to fill in the missing details when you zoom in. So instead of getting a blurry, pixelated mess, you get a surprisingly clear image.
So it's like those TV shows where they say enhance, and suddenly a blurry license plate becomes readable?
Haha, kind of. It's not quite times magical, but it's a big step in that direction. They're claiming up to 30x digital zoom with this thing, which is nuts.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is a big deal. But how does it compare to what other phone makers are doing?
There was this comparative analysis. Tech Radar, I think? They pitted Google's new phone against the latest iPhone and Samsung Galaxy models. Well, in low light, Google's phone seems to be the clear winner. And those AI features are apparently more advanced than what the competition is offering. The overall image quality is pretty close. But Google seems to have an edge in color accuracy and dynamic range.
But you mentioned the zoom, right? I recall some other phones having a bigger optical zoom.
Right, that's still a factor. Some competitors have longer range optical zoom lenses, and optical zoom is always going to be better than digital at the end of the day. But Google's AI-enhanced digital zoom is closing that gap.
It sounds like Google's betting big on software, while others are still focused on hardware.
That's a great observation, and it seems to be paying off, at least in the camera department. There was this case study. An award-winning photojournalist, John Smith, used the new Google phone for a week-long assignment.
Oh, interesting. A real-world test by a pro. What did he think?
He was blown away by the low-light performance. He was shooting urban nightlife, dimly lit bars and streets, and he said the photos were publication quality. He even compared it to his professional DSLR in some situations.
Wow, that's high praise. I mean, professional photographers are usually pretty picky about their gear.
For sure. He also praised the AI-enhanced zoom. Said he could capture candid shots from a distance without losing much detail. It's not going to replace his main camera for every situation, but he said it was surprisingly capable.
So are we moving toward a future where smartphones can actually replace professional cameras?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, there are some ethical considerations there too. Like, what does it mean for the photography industry if anyone can take professional quality photos with their phone?
Right, it's kind of like the whole debate about AQI art. It democratizes things, but it also raises questions about the value of human skill and creativity.
And on the privacy front, there are concerns about what happens to all the image data that these AI models are trained on.
True. It's a lot to think about. But, purely on the tech side, it's exciting to see where things are headed. What's the buzz from actual users?
The Reddit community, especially the Pixel folks, are pretty hyped. Lots of excitement about the low-light capabilities, and people are already talking about astrophotography possibilities, which is pretty cool.
Astrophotography on a phone? That's wild.
I know, right? It seems like this phone is really hitting the mark for a lot of users.
So what's the big takeaway here? Is this phone the next big thing, or is it just another incremental update?
From what I've gathered, it's a significant leap, especially in mobile photography. Google's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and computational techniques. It's not just about better specs. It's a whole new approach to how images are captured and processed.
And it sounds like it's going to shake things up for other phone makers too.
Definitely. They'll have to step up their game in the A-side department if they want to compete. I, for one, am excited to see what comes next. Imagine what they'll be doing with this tech in a few years.
It's a brave new world of smartphone photography, that's for sure. Thanks for breaking it all down, Mark. Always a pleasure to have my mind expanded.
Anytime, Jenny. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on all this. Are you excited about the future of phone cameras?
Yeah, hit us up on social media. And until next time, keep exploring.